and such things for the weakness of the retina. Does this
No,
work?
it doesn't. So let me tell you a little bit of the history of that. So about 30 to 40 years ago, the doctors found that vitamin A was involved in the visual cycle. It helps you to, it's converted into different forms to help you to see. Okay. And so then all the doctors said, oh, okay, everyone with the retina, the weak retina, you need to take more vitamin A because it will help you. But then what happened was people started to go blind because they had too much vitamin A, because it was building and causing damage and toxicity. So now we say, please do not take extra vitamin A because it may cause you damage.
So they can take like vitamin A in certain quantities.
You can have it as part of your
taken,
daily.
but not a lot, or
yeah, you should just have a healthy, balanced diet. So if you have a small amount of vitamin A in your diet, fine, but don't take extra vitamin A. Do not eat lots of liver. Do not take vitamin A supplements.
So from the food, you mean, people should take it like with their nutrition, not like take pills.
Exactly.
Of vitamin A.
Exactly. And do not even take too much vitamin A in your diet, especially if you have Stargardt's. Do not take excessive vitamin A. It will cause the disease to progress.
إذا تقول الدكتورة منذ 30 أو 40 سنة طبعا تحدثت عن تاريخ هذا الخطأ المتعلق بفيتامين A. قالت بأنه منذ 30 أو 40 سنة وجد الأطباء بأن الفيتامين A يساعد على أو تقوية البصر، فبدأوا ينصحون كل مرضاهم، كل من لديه ضعف بالشبكية أن يأخذ الفيتامين A. ولهذا السبب بعض الأشخاص طبعا فقدوا بقايا البصر التي لديهم بسبب كثرة الفيتامين A، وهي تنصح بخصوصا مرضى الستارغوت عدم أخذ الفيتامين A بكثافة، فليكن هو جزء من الغذاء دون أخذ أي نوع من الحبوب أو أخذ الأغذية التي تشتمل على فيتامين A.
What I would recommend, and there's a question about kind of what supplements and what I would suggest in terms of maintaining vision, for example, in RP and Stargardt's. What we say is that people should have a healthy, balanced diet full of fresh fruit and vegetables. The vegetables should be green, leafy vegetables like spinach, kale, broccoli, salad. And then the fruits, which are very good for you, are those that are red, blue, and black in color. So, for example, pomegranate, black and red grapes, black and red plums, strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, raspberries. All of those colored fruits are very good because they are high in antioxidants, and it will reduce the oxidative stress in the back of the eye.
إذا طبعا البعض يسأل في الشات عن ما هي المكملات الغذائية التي تفيدنا للأمراض الRP والستارغوت وغيرها من أمراض الشبكية. هي تقول الفواكه والخضار الورقية مثل السبانخ مثلا، والفاكهة الحمراء والزرقاء كالعنب والخوخ والتوت والفراولة وغيرها، وهذه كلها ستساعد طبعا في تقوية العين.
So we also advise that people try to have fish twice a week, at least in the diet. And then they should be exercising regularly. And then in bright light, patients should try to wear UV protected sunglasses.
إذا فهي الدكتورة تنصح بأكل السمك مرتين في الأسبوع، أيضا ممارسة التمارين الرياضية، وطبعا لبس في الإضاءة العالية، يعني إذا كان الضوء ساطعا يجب لبس النظارات التي تحجب الأشعة فوق البنفسجية.
Okay, so I'll answer some more questions in a minute. I just want to finish with a few more little things about clinical trials. So if a patient has genetic testing and they do not find the gene that is causing their condition, or there is no gene therapy specifically for them, then there are a different type of gene therapy which has been developed, which is basically targeting the disease pathways in the retina. So, for example, we know that in RP, in Stargardt's, eventually the cells are getting sick, they're not functioning properly, and then they're dying off. And so we can deliver genes that may help them to live longer, for example, and prevent them from dying so early. So an example of this, there is a company called Sparing Vision. They are doing a gene therapy where they are developing or delivering a factor back to the retina that will help the cells that control the central vision work properly for a longer period of time.
إذن طبعا تحدثت الدكتورة عن بعض أيضا التجارب العلاجية. فإذا تقول بأن هناك بعض المرضى يقومون بالفحص الوراثي ولا يجدون ولا يتم إيجاد الجينات المسببة للمرض. فإذا طبعا هناك الأمراض التي تحدثت عنها سابقا المتعلقة بأمراض الوراثية الشبكية. هنا هذه الأمراض طبعا الخلايا تمرض وتموت، وهناك علاجات للجينات يتم إعطاء جينات لمنع هذه الخلايا من الموت ولجعلها تستمر لفترة أطول. طبعا هناك طبعا what about also the treatments for that will make the cells stay alive.
So it's a form of gene therapy. It's called, I'm going to tell you the whole name. It's called rod-derived cone viability factor. Basically, it's like a hormone. If you deliver it back to the retina in, for example, RP, where you still have the central vision, it will help the cells that are remaining work better and healthier for longer.
إذا هذا العلاج تحدث عنه هو نوع من هرمون يعطى للمريض ويساعد خلايا البصر المركزي للبقاء لفترة أطول.
And then there's another gene therapy where this is for patients who have quite advanced disease. So they might be at the stage where they cannot see, you know, hands moving, or light and dark, they can only see. And it's another type of gene therapy where they inject these light sensitive channels that sit on the residual cells in the retina, and in a certain wavelength of light, it will stimulate them so that those individuals might then start to see more in the light and get more navigational vision. It's never going to give them vision how it was, or like you and me, but it will help them to maybe walk and avoid big objects, see light, dark. That's called optogenetics.
إذا تتحدث الدكتورة عن علاج آخر يسمى هو له علاقة بالعصب بالعلاج البصري طبعا الوراثي. هو طبعا المرضى المتقدمين الذين لا يمكنهم رؤية الأشياء البسيطة مثل اليد عندما تتحرك والظلمة والظلام والنور. فهذه العلاجات تعمل على إثارة العصب البصري على أساس أنه هو يبدأ برؤية الضوء. It stimulates the nerves, the optic nerve. This kind of treatment.
So the channel inserts into the remaining cells, and then it will be excited by the light, and then it will then pass the signals down the nerve back to the brain again.
إذا هذه طبعا القنوات البصرية فهي يتم طبعا إثارتها وستبدأ بإعطاء إشارات للدماغ، ويمكن للأشخاص الرؤية الضوء مرة أخرى.
Okay, so there are just a few examples of the kind of new treatments that are coming through, and you can get a lot of this information from the Gene Vision website. But I'm aware that I've been talking for an hour now, so I'm going to try and just answer a few of the key questions that are coming up in the chat before I pass over to Nada and to Ramadan. So Abu Faraz has asked about the complications of Luxturna gene therapy. So it is very important to mention here that the gene therapy that is being given as a treatment is now showing in patients that after about 6 months of treatment, they are starting to get areas where their retina is degenerating. Now, it could be that this is because of an immune reaction to the virus. It could be because of the surgery and how it's really caused a lot of stress on the retina. It's likely to be a combination of both, but it is important to be aware that this is a complication of the surgery, and before anyone is going forwards with these kind of operations, this is why it's so important to speak to the doctors and to find out about what these potential complications can be. Now, in the doctors who have treated these patients, they say that the patients say that they have not noticed a difference in their actual vision. But I would say the reason that is because their vision is so bad anyway, that's why they're not noticing it. But in my opinion, it's definitely causing some sort of side effect in the back of the eye.
إذا هناك سؤال في الشات طبعا حول تعقيدات العلاجات الوراثية منها اللاكستيرنر، فهي تقول بأن هذه العلاجات تظهر فعالية تبدأ بالظهور بعد 6 أشهر من بدء المريض بالعلاجات، طبعا بسبب ردة فعل أحيانا مناعية على الفيروسات أو ضغط على شبكة العين أو كليهما. هناك طبعا قبل إجراء هذا النوع من العلاجات طبعا يجب التحدث مع الطبيب والتأكد كيف من إمكانية فعالية هذه العلاجات. طبعا بعض المرضى لا يلاحظون قوة في بصرهم بسبب ضعف بصرهم الشديد، ولكن تقول دكتورة حتما أن هذه العلاجات هي فعالة وتبدأ في الظهور يعني تدريجيا.
Okay, another question is, would all RP patients go blind? And the answer to that is no, not all patients will go blind. And it's important to note that patients progress at different rates. So you can't compare yourself to anyone else. Even within a family, one, for example, individual can progress at a certain rate, and maybe their brother or sister might be much more milder or much more severe. So it's really important that we monitor patients individually. We find out the cause. Some genes might have a much more severe effect. If we find out that, for example, it's a different gene and it's milder, we can then say to the patients, look, you're going to have good vision until your 80s or 90s. So just to say no, it's all done on an individual basis and knowing hopefully what the genetic cause is.
إذا هناك طبعا سؤال عن التهاب الشبكية، مرض الARP اللي هو له علاقة بالمرض الوراثي، فيسألون هل يفقد كل شخص يعاني من هذا المرض البصر؟ فهي تقول لا أرى هناك فرق بين الأشخاص، حتى في الأسرة الواحدة قد يفقد الأخ بصره والأخ الآخر أو الأخت الأخرى لا تفقد ويبقى بصرها جيدا، والبعض طبعا يفقد البصر. فإذا هناك تفاوت ويجب التعامل مع هذا الموضوع على أساس فردي، فيجب إيجاد كل فرد إيجاد سبب معاناته من هذا المرض لكل فرد على حدة، وهناك أشخاص طبعا يتمتعون بالرؤية حتى ببصرهم، بصر قوي، ويعانون من RP ويبقى بصرهم حتى 80 أو 90 عاما.
Okay, I've talked about optogenetic treatment a little, and the nanoscope obviously is optogenetics. So I've kind of covered that a little bit. I think that it has a good prospect for the future, but it's only going to help people with quite advanced disease already, and it's not going to give you a huge amount of vision back. So just be aware, it's not going to give you back how you were when you were seeing all this fine detail. It will only help with navigational vision. And we have to wait to see what the trials are showing. It's currently about to start a phase 3 clinical trial.
إذا طبعا هناك العلاج البصري الوراثي طبعا، فهي تتحدث عنه قبل قليل طبعا في محاضرتها، وتقول بأنه قد يؤثر طبعا، يعطي بعض الإبصار، ولكن علينا الانتظار على ورؤية وانتظار نتيجة التجارب التي يتم فيها تجربة هذا العلاج.
So I'm just interpreting one of the comments. So somebody was saying that they were diagnosed with Stargardt's, and then they found out that it was actually RP1, maybe. So just to say that, Ramadan, I hope you don't mind me sharing your experience, but Ramadan came to me and he had loss of central vision and loss of his peripheral field of vision. And when we did the genetic testing, we found that he had a gene that was causing RP, so the loss of his field of vision, and a gene that was affecting his central vision. And so the point is that you can never 100% guess or know what the cause of your condition is. It's really important to do the genetic testing and find out, because it will help on so many levels. One, with access to treatments. Two, in terms of having a future family. If you know your genetic result, you can actually access a form of it's a form of IVF, in vitro fertilization, where they take the sperm and the eggs, fertilize it in a dish, and then they take a little cell, once it's a ball of cells, and check, is it carrying the mutation? And they only implant healthy embryos back into the partner. And so the point is that you can actually now prevent your condition from being passed on to future children if you know what your genetic mutation is.
إذن طبعا هناك شخص بالشات قال بأنه تم تشخيص مرضه كستارغوتس، بعدين تبين بأنه RP1. فهي طبعا تقول بأن تشارك تجربة الصحفي رمضان الذي عالجته في الإمارات العربية المتحدة، وهي تقول بأنه فقد رؤيته المركزية، فقد أيضا جزء من رؤيته الجانبية، وكان هناك جينات أثرت على بصره. وتنصح وتشدد على ضرورة فحص الوراثي، وخصوصا الأشخاص الذين يفكرون طبعا في بناء أسرة أن يكون لديهم أولاد. فهي اعتبرت بأن هناك فحص يتم فيه وضع البويضة والحيوان المنوي طبعا، ويفحصون هل هناك جينات موجودة فيها، وهذا طبعا مهم جدا لصحة الجنين، وعدم يعني يكون عندنا أطفال يحملون هذه الجينات، تجنب ذلك.
I think we've kind of covered about diet, supplements, exercise, UV protected sunglasses. Those are things that you can do now to help slow the disease. Try not to stress. Stress will make your situation worse. So it's really important that we try to control that. That's why exercise is actually much better, because it releases the right type of hormones rather than those steroid hormones that cause stress. They're the main kind of things at the moment that we can do to try just to, you know, slow disease progression down.
إذن هنا لتبطئ المرض. طبعا تحدثت الدكتورة سابقا عن النظام الغذائي والمتممات الغذائية والتمارين الرياضية، فهي تنصح طبعا لتبطئ المرض عدم تجنب الضغط النفسي، وطبعا الغذاء الصحيح والتمارين الرياضية لتخفيض الضغط النفسي. وكلما طبعا كان تجنبنا الضغط النفسي طبعا هذا سيؤثر إيجابا على طبعا النظر وعلى الصحة بشكل عام.
Some people have said, what do I think about lutein and NAC? NAC stands for N-acetylcysteine, which is an antioxidant. So some doctors, I know, for example, there's some Canadian doctors that actually say it's fine. And to be fair, I don't mind if a patient wants to take lutein supplements or N-acetylcysteine. The way that the Moorfields London doctors feel is that if you can have a good healthy diet, you should get all your kind of nutrients and antioxidants through the diet is much better than taking a tablet. But obviously some people like to take supplements. So lutein is fine, it's not going to harm you. NAC is currently in a clinical trial for RP in Australia, and we don't know whether it will work or not at the moment, but I don't think it's going to cause a huge amount of harm if you were to take the supplement. But my perspective, and the London doctors always suggest taking a healthy balanced diet rather than taking too many supplements.
إذا طبعا البعض في يسأل عن بعض الحبوب اللي هي لوتين وناك، فهي تقول بأن الأطباء الكنديين يعتبرون بأنها جيدة، ولكن الأطباء في مستشفى مورفيلد في لندن لا ينصحون بالإكثار من أخذ الحبوب، بل تناول طبعا أغذية بالأطعمة تتضمن هذه المتممات الغذائية بدلا من أخذ الحبوب بكثرة. طبعا ناك هي تقول يتم تجربته في أستراليا، ولكن هي تشدد على أنها هي من وجهة نظرها ومن وجهة نظر أطباء في لندن يجب اتباع نظام غذائي وتجنب أخذ الحبوب.
Then somebody's just talked about glasses to focus light on the parts of the remaining retina. Actually, that raises a good point about patients using low vision aids as well. So now, again, there are lots of companies that have created kind of glasses or almost like virtual reality headsets where they could, for example, increase your field of view or help to magnify things on the area of the remaining retina. Sometimes these glasses can be really expensive. They can be up to sort of £5,000, £3,000. All I would just say is that never buy these things straight outright. Always ask if you can test them first to see if they're helpful for you. Because again, it's a lot of money to be buying some special glasses that actually you then never use and keep it in your drawer, and it's a total waste of money. So most of these companies, again, if you go to Gene Vision, there's a whole section on low vision aids, and there are also a lot of digital accessibility softwares, things that your phone can use to help you to magnify text, read out text, recognize people's faces for you. So there's a lot of that can be done to support people from low vision aids perspective.
طبعا بعض يسأل عن بعض أنواع النظارات التي تعمل على تكبير الأشياء، فهي تقول الدكتورة بأن هناك شركات كثيرة صنعت نظارات فيها سماعات للواقع الافتراضي وهي تكبر الأشياء وهي غالية الثمن. فهي تنصح طبعا كل الأشخاص أن لا يشتروا أي نظارة أو أي معاينات بصرية قبل تجربتها، يعني يشترطوا تجربتها أولا قبل دفع الكثير من الأموال وشرائها ووضعها في الأدراج وعدم استخدامها. وهي تقول بأن على الويب سايت اللي هو على موقع الإنترنت اللي هو جين فيجن هناك طبعا معلومات كثيرة عن برمجيات ومعاينات بصرية وبرمجيات تساعد في الهاتف، تساعد على تكبير طبعا الأشياء. وطبعا المستخدمي الهواتف الذكية طبعا أنا أضيف بأن هناك طبعا برامج ناطقة ومكبرة أصلا من ضمن الهاتف فيمكن استخدامها يعني. Because there are lots of software also on the smartphones nowadays.
Yeah,
Even
exactly.
they don't have to buy it. Yeah, they don't
You
have
don't,
to
it
buy the
comes
software.
exactly on the iPhone, it's got voiceover. It just comes all built in, which is really good now.
Yeah, with magnification and zoom and all these things. You know, they don't have to pay extra money. لا تحتاجون بدفع الأموال في الآيفون، يعني مستخدمي الآيفون وأعتقد أيضا الأندرويد وغيرها من الهواتف الذكية هناك معاينات بصرية، وأيضا للمكفوفين كليا يمكن استخدام التليفون من دون شراء أي سوفت وير إضافي.
Okay, and then I think we're nearly coming there. So the last few things. So someone asked about cataract surgery and if lens implantation would worsen the RP. So just to say that in RP, you have a higher incidence of getting cataracts and earlier on in your life. I would just say that make sure you choose a cataract surgeon who is experienced with doing cataract surgery in patients who've got RP, because you want someone who uses a low level of energy that protects the retina as much as they can when they're doing the cataract surgery. And then putting a lens in place is completely fine, but you just want to make sure that the follow-up, you're on the right drops, that you've got appointments to check you're not getting fluid buildup at the back of the eye. So it's a much more gentle approach to cataract surgery in RP patients than say someone has just a normal retina.
إذا البعض يسأل عن الكاتاراكت، عن موضوع عمليات المياه الزرقاء الأشخاص الذين يعانون طبعا من التهاب الشبكية، التهاب الشبكية الصباغي اللي هو الRP. طبعا هي تنصح باختيار المعالج جيدا، ولأنه بعض أحيانا المعالجين عندما يقومون بهذه العملية هناك قد يكون هناك سوائل بالعين، فيجب طبعا التأكد والتحقق من أن الطبيب الذي سيجري هذه العملية هو متمكن من إجرائها، وخصوصا للمرضى الRP، لأنه المرضى العاديين لا مشكلة يعني ولكن الRP فهي وضعهم أكثر حساسية.
Yeah, and I think the last thing I'm going to say, because it's come up a lot in the chat, is the cost of gene therapy. So gene therapy is extremely expensive. So actually Abu Faraz seems to know a lot about this, so maybe he can come and talk as well. But just to say that he's absolutely right. In the UK, gene therapy is costing around £500,000 for a single procedure to both eyes. We are lucky in the UK because our National Health Service covers the cost of this. But there are many countries around the world where people just, how are they meant to afford that? People don't even have houses that cost that much money. All I would say is try to get in touch with the centers, or for example, outside of the US, it's Novartis is the company that market Luxturna. Obviously, this Luxturna is only for a very few number of people. The majority of people are not going to have RP65 mutations. But if you're sitting there with an RP65 mutation, do get in touch with some of the key hospitals. So in the UAE, it's the Cleveland Clinic, and in Saudi, it's the main KK hospital. But and Novartis, because sometimes they can subsidize these treatments for people who do not have the ability to pay for it. And the only other thing I would say is that as more of these treatments come and become approved, it will drive the costs down. But at the moment, yes, I completely agree. It is ridiculously expensive for some of these treatments. And that's something that it's not just, you know, you guys, it's the whole of the world are trying to canvas to kind of reduce the cost of this.
إذا بخصوص العلاجات الوراثية يتم السؤال عنها كثيرا، وهي تقول أنها غالية الثمن مثلا بالمملكة المتحدة. كل جرعة للعينين تكلف 5000 باوند، وهذا طبعا كثير يعتبر مبلغ كبير جدا، وخصوصا أنه هناك أشخاص لا يستطيعون تغطية تكاليف العلاج لأنه ليس لديهم منازل وأشياء أخرى. وهي تعتبر أن اللكسترن طبعا هو علاج لا يأخذه الجميع، وهي تنصح في التواصل مع عيادة كليفن بالإمارات العربية المتحدة ومستشفى WKK في السعودية في المملكة العربية السعودية. وطبعا هي تقول بأنه هناك تجارب علاجية جديدة قد عندما يتم الموافقة على بعضها واعتمادها كعلاجات موثوق بها قد تكون التكلفة أقل.
So the last thing I just want to say is thank you so much to everyone for listening to me. I really hope that some of the things that I was telling you were helpful. Obviously, if anyone needs any help, feel free to get in touch. I know it can be difficult with cost, etc., but you know, I'm always here.
فإذا الدكتورة تتمنى تشكركم لإصغائكم، وتتمنى أن تكونوا قد استفدتم من المعلومات التي أعطتكم إياها، وهي مستعدة طبعا وهي موجودة ويمكنكم التواصل معها في أي وقت، وهي تؤكد على صعوبة وتكاليف العلاجات، وتؤكد عليكم في الاطلاع على جين فيجن، موقع جين فيجن على الإنترنت، وهي الآن ستعطي زملائها الكلام.
عفوا صوتي واصل استاذ محمد؟ استاذ محمد.
نعم دكتور واصل تفضل.
نعم. نتقدم بالشكر الجزيل الى الدكتوره ماريا مورساجي لهذه المحاضره القيمه التي تناولت فيها هذا المرض اللعين وهذه التفصيلات والنصائح الدالة على خبرتها الواسعة في هذا المجال. أستاذة إيمان.